Yeah. First episode. Exciting, bro. Everyone's excited, bro? You excited,
Man,
Steven?
Let's get it. Let's get it.
I couldn't
Let's
even
get
sleep
it,
last
bro.
night.
Yeah. So exciting, bro. All
All right, all
right. I
right.
guess our first topic would be the Lakers roster change.
Roster
Um,
changes?
yeah, the roster changes. What do you guys think about Dennis right here from coming from OKC? What do you guys think about him,
Go for it, Steven.
Steven?
Man, I think it's a solid pickup, man. Obviously, we're gonna miss Rondo. Rondo contributed really good to the playoffs, but Dennis Schroeder ain't no chump. I
Mhm.
mean, he was the runner-up for six man of the year. He averaged what, like 18 points a game, and he's a good floor general too. Obviously, he's not gonna be a Rondo, but I think he could prove himself well in the playoffs. He went up against LeBron before, so you know what LeBron is, and now he's a teammate with LeBron. In the preseason right now, it ain't much, but he's doing pretty good. So
I
I
agree.
can't wait. But the only thing about him is that I don't think he should be the starting point guard because obviously that's LeBron. But
See that
he could run the second team with Montrezl Harrell, and then once in a while be like with the starting team with LeBron and AD.
see that one. That's an interesting part right there because we already heard a lot. I'm sure you've watched the show. He Dennis Schroeder has claimed he wants to be the starting point guard, but LeBron just came off a season where he averaged the most assists not only in his career, but he led the league in assists. And Dennis Schroeder did claim that apparently when him and probably Rob Pelinka were talking about their contract, that it was implied that Dennis Schroeder would get that starting point position because he said he's done coming off the bench. He's done being the sixth man.
Well, yeah, if a man trying to prove himself, I mean, why not? He's trying to show that, he got the game, that he can do it, that he can do it as much as, well, not maybe as good as LeBron, but, maybe show that he can handle himself as well.
So would you
Yeah,
guys
well, the
say you want?
thing is, the thing is like yeah, he can do it. He can be a starting point guard like he was in Atlanta. But the thing is, that's not what we need him for. And when it comes to a championship contending team, you got to do what the team needs, not what your career is better for. So
Mhm.
like yeah, he if he starts in the position, LeBron's numbers on the assists are gonna go down, and we don't want that. 'Cause if LeBron leads the team, he's the floor general on the team, then he could help out AD. He could bring in a double team and kick it out to the open three or something like that. Dennis Schroeder doesn't get as much attraction from the defenders that LeBron does, and that's
So,
why moving LeBron and point guard is the best thing the Lakers can do. It worked last year. They won a championship with it, and it could work this year again. And Dennis Schroeder could be one of those kick out threes. And then when he's with the second rotation, he could be the main man when LeBron gets off the floor.
so you're saying Schroeder should come off the bench?
Yeah, he should come off the bench, but that doesn't we see Lou Williams, we see Montrezl when he was with the Clippers. They came off the bench, but when it came to fourth quarter time, they were in the fourth quarter. So they're technically not starters, but they get starting minutes either way.
Okay.
Uh,
What about Gasol coming from the Toronto Raptors?
Go
Maybe
ahead.
we didn't think about him.
Gasol. Uh, I thought he was old, but no, I started doing my research. He's still got some game in him.
Hmm.
He did come off an injury from the regular season before the pandemic and a little bit throughout, until entering the bubble. And then once he resumed to play, uh, it was kind of tough coming back from that injury. But we already seen a little bit of what he's made of in the preseason. So hopefully
Yes.
he can produce more numbers of that, more having his way a little bit throughout in the paint. Those passes, you already see that it doesn't matter who he's playing with. He's gonna get those looks. He's gonna know who to pass it to. He has that vision, and not only that, but communication on the defensive end. He's a guy talking to guys, "Hey, switch. Hey, roll over." He's not gonna be the same defender that he was. He's not gonna average the same numbers, but our team is so deep that I think we're gonna be okay. We're gonna with AD, Trez, and him, and I think Lakers are still even looking for another free agent to add to that big man.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. We can get more into that about Gasol and kind of showing what he did for the preseason. We're getting more into that right now later on. For Matthews from Milwaukee, what do you think about him, Steven?
Weston Matthews is like he's a little older now, but he's still a good 3-and-D defender.
How is he
He could
actually?
shoot the three. I think he's in his I don't know exactly how old is he, but he's past his prime. He's not the same player he was in the
Really?
Trailblazers. he had an injury, Achilles injury, and after that he wasn't the same player. But he's still a good 3-and-D solid player. Last season with the Milwaukee, it wasn't a strong shooting season.
Hmm.
But I mean, now with the Lakers, he doesn't have as much pressure, you can say, because Milwaukee didn't really have great shooters besides him and Kyle Korver, maybe Chris Middleton.
He's
So
But
actually
you're saying
he's
so you're saying
34 years
there's
old.
he's
34 years
34
old.
years old. There you go.
Wow.
It's nearing the
I
But
end
actually
of his
thought he
he,
was
career.
young.
he looks young.
Nah, he's been in the league for a while. He was with the Trailblazers, Marcus Aldridge, Nicholas
Wow.
Batum,
Do
Brandon
you think
Wow.
Ingram.
do you think that there's more time for him besides despite his age? Do you believe
Yeah,
that like that he can still improve or otherwise like be better at the game?
I believe
Or
if you're a shooter in the NBA, you can have a long career because you don't rely on your athleticism. You don't rely on your maybe on your crossover. You rely on just shooting. Then he's just a spot up wing shooter that can defend still.
okay. What's this other guy? His name is sorry if I mispronounced it. Montrez?
Montrezl Harrell. Yeah,
Yeah.
Montrezl
Montrezl
Harrell.
Harrell.
This
Man,
is
let
the
me tell you, that was a surprise pickup. When I
yeah.
saw the news, when I saw the Woj about the Lakers picking him up, taking him away from the Clippers, I was like shocked because it was
Was
like the
wasn't I one
last
that
year it
told
was
you?
like Lakers and Clippers. Oh, yeah, it was like Lakers and Clippers, Lakers and Clippers, and Montrezl was one of those guys talking all that trash. He was one of those dogs, quote unquote dogs, and in the end they ended up losing in the second round. And the Lakers and Clippers, they did not, Kawhi was trashing LeBron, Paul George, and they were saying they were gonna win the ring and whatnot. So there was beef there. And then you see free agency after we won the ring, he leaves his companions right there that they've been together since the Rockets, and then he goes and joins the
Hmm.
Lakers. It was a big surprise. But overall it's a great addition. Six man of the year. Good 18 points a game. He had trouble in the
16
bubble,
points
but
actually.
16
It's actually
okay,
has
yeah,
16
16 points a
points.
game.
That was last
But
season.
I mean, still good. I mean,
he had a little trouble with the bubble, but I think it was because some of his family passed away. He probably wasn't working out before the
um,
bubble. But I have a feeling with the Lakers, since there's expectations with the Lakers, he could step up his game. The only thing is, it's a good thing we brought in Marcus Gasol because he cannot guard Nikola Jokic. He cannot guard like bigger centers like Nikola Jokic and stuff. He's a good defender when it comes to defending, guards coming into the paint. When it comes to guarding Nikola Jokic, he struggles with that. But that's why we have Marcus Gasol and Anthony Davis to do that.
Very undersized,
mhm.
Yeah, very undersized. I think he's like 6'7". LeBron's taller than him.
but he's definitely gonna bring a really good defensive edge to our
Oh yeah,
team.
I saw him play in person. I went to a Clipper game. Me and you went to a Clipper game,
Oh yeah, we
Marco.
did. Right?
That
Block,
dude, he got a
block.
sick block. He was doing great on the defensive end, and I like that he's starting to shoot the mid range in preseason now. He's
Hopefully they let
shooting it a
him.
little bit more. Yeah, no, he's shooting it a little bit more, which is good. That way he could space the floor a little more because he didn't really do that with the Clippers.
Yeah, and I think I saw him put like I think he did like 2 attempts each preseason game against the Clippers, and maybe 1 attempt last night, and he made them. He made at least
Hmm.
50% of them. He's been working
Yeah.
on it.
That's good. Yeah, that's very good.
Hmm.
Is there someone you guys would have rather had in the roster change, like someone else who you
For
thought
who?
would have been for the Lakers? Who else you think would have should have been added or otherwise replaced?
Well, I think losing Rondo was like a big thing because Rondo had a
Yeah,
you could rely
I
on
like
Rondo in the
Rondo.
playoffs. Like he
Yes.
didn't. It
Playoff
was not
Rondo.
adding him to the roster. It's just keeping him in the roster. The fact that we couldn't keep him, you know, it doesn't hurt the Lakers because we got Shooter and we got a lot. We got all the
Yeah.
pickups, but it would have been nice to keep him. But he at least he didn't go to the Clippers and he got his money with the Atlanta Hawks. He got paid good money.
They got a pretty good
So
squad
I
over
mean,
there.
I'm proud of Rondo. He got a ring. He helped us with the ring, and he didn't go to the Clippers. So I ain't mad with him.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good player. I liked him a lot. Yeah. He helped a lot in the court.
No, in the
Um,
playoffs he went off.
let's talk about KD and or actually more about Kyrie actually. Um, we've been seeing a lot of talks or a lot of like kind of like articles about Kyrie right now lately, but his issues about like his but his a comment about saying that the media is more like pawns or in other ways kind of kind of leaning towards the media, I guess you can say, and even being charged at 25K a fine. That's crazy. That's a lot of money. That's a lot.
Well, not
Uh,
20, 25. It's still a lot of money though.
yeah,
Doesn't
yeah,
affect his
but I
overall
mean, to us, it's a
profitability.
lot. It's
No, yeah,
a lot.
you still, no matter how rich you are, you don't want to lose money.
Yeah, but do you believe that he suffers a lot of from a lot of mood swings? Like a lot of, you know, is it
I've
maybe that's maybe the reason why he's like acting this way?
I've heard of this a lot, but I'm not gonna deny it, but I find it very hard to believe because I understand that people go through certain situations like this, not only in the NBA but in real life. I don't think I've gone through something like this myself, so I'm not gonna consider myself an expert or know exactly what I'm talking about. But for Kyrie, I've seen him act like this in not only the Nets, but we've seen it in the Celtics and we've seen it in Cleveland, especially with him and LeBron. And I don't know if it's an ongoing thing. I think it's part of who he is, unfortunately. I I I've perceived him in that way. He's given me that perception throughout his career, and
Mhm.
I did not pay attention to it before all this things that he started saying or avoiding the media or calling, referring to them as pawns. I didn't pay attention to it because it's it's none of my business. But when he did say this, I found it a little bit offensive towards the media. Like I saw Undisputed talk about it, and I'm all like, I feel bad because it's like kind of like a he's shooting at them. Like all they're doing is their job. They get paid to do that job. It's a career. It's you don't do that job just because oh it was an open job.
It's
You do
very
that job
hard
because
of a job
it's
too.
something you love. It's something they love to do. What they
Yes.
do on that job is something they love to do. And for someone to go out there and diminish them like that, I found it really offensive towards them, and I felt bad for them. I felt bad for them.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he's shushing the media, it's under the NBA contract, under the contracts they have to speak to media. It's like after every game, players have a post conference. They ask them questions about the game, and yeah, sometimes the media can be, annoying because they ask you questions you don't want to answer. But in the end, it's part of the job. Talking to reporters and stuff. It's part of the job in the NBA. You get paid millions, so I think he shouldn't you know not talk to them, or else he's gonna keep getting fined because a lot of if you notice a lot of the topics um that come up in the NBA, you usually see them on First Take or on Undisputed. They're
Mhm.
about what a player said after the game or how they said it, something like that. So a lot of the content that the NBA gets, which brings in fans, comes from talking to the media. And the fact that he called them pawns is like disrespectful. Pawns is the weakest piece in the game of chess, but it's still a
Like a
useful piece.
sacrifice.
Yeah, and it's something that you could get rid of because there's so many of them. And yeah, no, that's disrespectful. But yeah, I don't agree with Kyrie. He's had previous problems with the Celtics. He had problems with LeBron. And I think it's because he thinks he's a great leader, but some people just aren't cut out to be leaders. And I mean, he could be a great leader. He's a great player. Top probably 3, 4 point guard in the game right now. But you have to have good leadership, and he hasn't proven yet that he has good leadership. That's why KD and Kyrie, KD didn't has never led a team. He led the Warriors, but the Warriors was Curry's team. So and it'd be interesting to see how the next season plays out because the honestly they could win the championship. I'm a big Laker fan, but they have a big chance of winning the championship. But the only two problems they have are the Lakers and themselves because they could kick themselves in the shin by having locker room problems.
Okay, I want to touch on Braun a little bit. What do you think about what he said on Katie's podcast? You remember that? It was like during the summertime.
Yeah, no, that was totally uncalled for. I mean, the fact that he said that LeBron basically he said it indirectly, but he said LeBron isn't clutch. LeBron isn't the type of guy who to hit the last minute shots. I mean, Kyrie hit that one in 2016, and that was
Clutch,
that was clutch,
clutch.
no doubt
Yeah,
about it. I'm not saying Kyrie's a bad player. He's one of the best in the game right now. But
definitely.
to go ahead and disrespect LeBron like that, it's like uncalled for. LeBron's never said anything bad about Kyrie in the media, and Kyrie just went on and said that. And LeBron proved to be, one of the clutchest guys in the NBA, in NBA
Mhm.
history, not just in the NBA. And
In
a
my
lot of people pass over that because in the beginning of his career, he didn't really take those shots, but now he's different. Now he took like I think five in the playoffs, five buzzer beaters in the playoffs against the Pacers, against against the Chicago Bulls over Jimmy Butler. He's done a lot of clutch playoffs, but playoff moments. But I don't know. I guess they discredit him because I don't know why they discredit LeBron.
Go ahead,
It's it's
Marcus.
it's crazy because I mean, ever since he came out with that quote on Katie's podcast, uh I've seen compilations being made on Instagram of LeBron, how LeBron treated Kyrie. He treated him like he was going to be the next big thing in the league, which at that time could have been a possibility. But like he treated him very special. Like even the media got after him. Like Kyrie, you had like zero assists that one game, and Kyrie was like acted like making a face. But then LeBron, read the situation, and then he backed him up. He stood up for him. He said, "Don't put that on him. Put that on me." He did say it was a team flaw or team effort, but he said, "Put that on me." Like, and even Kyrie apologized to LeBron the year LeBron went to the Lakers for the first time for the first year, and he they apologized. I'm like, what other thing could trigger something for Kyrie to say something like this?
No, and you know what's the worst part? Right after he said it, he blamed the media because he was saying that they twisted his words or something like that. But it was like
And
you're
it
the one
was
that
not
said it.
that.
Yeah, you're the one that said that. Like it was clear. If I
Yep,
wouldn't have watched First Take or Undisputed and I saw what he said, it would have been like, yo, this dude's trashing LeBron. Because everybody
yep,
knows LeBron was Kyrie's best teammate. They won a
yep.
championship together. And he was blaming it on the media, but that's not the media's fault. The media covered it, yeah, but they covered it because you said it. You said it, and you wanted to probably bring in views for KD's podcast because you said it, but it wasn't the media's fault.
Yeah,
That was just like him like he always say something, and then when people talk about it, they're like, oh man, why are they doing that? It's like he's trying to run away from what he said, which
yeah.
it's cowardly.
Do you guys believe that Kyrie takes LeBron as a threat in terms of like maybe like showing like saying like does he sees him as a threat? Like, do you believe that he can be a lot better, LeBron? I mean, he's the best, but do you think he can go even more, even
I think
beyond Kyrie?
I think the problem with Kyrie with LeBron and why he holds like something against him is because a lot of people say LeBron with Kyrie without LeBron would have been nothing. And it could go. It's right, but it's wrong at the same time. 'Cause Kyrie was a good player. He just didn't
Hmm.
have, you know, he was like LeBron. He didn't have a team around him with the Cavaliers. But uh, like every accomplishment that Kyrie has, they tie it to LeBron. Which again, it could be annoying. Like they asked him a question of how LeBron is as a dad to the team. Like LeBron isn't a dad. Like I'm pretty sure that's why Kyrie holds something against LeBron because all his accomplishments they tie it to LeBron, and maybe that's why he has that hate for him. But it doesn't give him a right to disrespect LeBron and discredit his legacy.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the rookie letter. Let's see. What's his name? Okoro?
Yeah,
Okoro.
Isaac
Okoro.
Okoro.
Yeah, Okoro. Yeah, I don't know
Um,
much about him, but can you guys give me insight about who he is actually?
he's drafted by Cleveland.
Hmm.
I forgot what number, but I think it was a top 10 overall pick. Um, he's very versatile from the game that I've seen. He's a great player. He's expected a lot, and I think he's going to contribute really well to the game of Colin Sexton and Darius Garland. I know they've had their struggles and everything, but Cleveland has something good going there, especially with their addition of Andre Drummond and a pretty healthy Kevin Love. I think Okoro plays a small forward. I'm not sure exactly, but I think he's gonna be a good addition. He seems like he knows what he's doing on the court. He knows what he's doing. He knows what to expect when it comes to the game. And when you do that, it makes the game easier. You get over that. What identity I'm trying to find. What type of player am I trying to be? Like if you have that kind of figured out a little bit before you, or even early in your career, it extends a long path for you.
Yeah, I I looked about what about Lamelo? Lamelo? No,
The
sorry,
mellow
Listen,
ball.
Lamelo
Lamelo Ball.
Lamelo
Yeah.
Ball. I think he can be greater than his brother. He can be better than his brother. But the thing is, he has to, obviously his shot has to translate to the NBA. So I think he was averaging like 29% from the three in
Yes,
the
he was.
Australian league. And
Mhm.
that's in the Australian league. So he has to shoot, above at least 35% from the three to be good in the NBA. And besides that, just develop as a rookie. So he doesn't have as much pressure as Lonzo had because he was with the Lakers. So hopefully he can he's still in the spotlight though. So
Yeah,
hopefully he can do good. But I expect him to be, not an all-star, just a solid starter for his team this season.
yeah. I like how he's playing. Yeah, he's doing good. Um, I think yeah, I agree that he can be as good as his brother. You know, I believe like when Lonzo Ball was first in the Lakers, I think everyone was expecting too much from him, and that's why I think a lot of people would not like see him too much as a good player, maybe. But I believe he was a good. I think his brother is a good player, and I believe Lamelo will actually do the same thing. Even the better, just because I believe not a lot of people expect that much from him, just like his brother. You know.
Oh no, they still expect a lot. He's the number three pick.
Well, yeah,
But
he's the number three pick, but do you believe that? Do you expect him more from Lonzo or Lamelo more?
well, from Lonzo because he was overhyped and he was induced to
Yeah,
LA. He was with the Lakers.
that's what I mean.
But
Yeah,
Lonzo's a good player. He's great on defense. He averages like 12, 6, and 7, which is good, but it's not number two material. But he's not a bust. He's just a solid player in the NBA. And Lamelo, like I said, he doesn't have as much pressure on him. So he's not gonna be as good defensively though as Lonzo. And he needs to lift up weights to get better, man. He needs to get, stronger.
okay. What about the other players? What do you guys think about the other ones?
Toppin?
Obi
Yeah,
Toppin from the
Toppin.
Knicks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw, I believe, his first two games in the preseason so far. We all know the preseason doesn't really count, but it's good to see good signs. It's good to see what these guys are made of. Um, he has a very nice soft touch around the rim. That's something I noticed. He's very versatile. He has great athleticism. Can really get in the air, and I want to say he has good reflexes too because there's a lot of ball possessions that were about to go out of bounds. And even commentators were very surprised at how he can inbound them back in. So that's something you definitely want to do. Someone whose instincts are active on the court. Because if you have your instincts active that can react to things that you don't really, if you don't think too much, if your instincts are more active than your thoughts, your game could be really, really solid and really, really great. Like I said, he has a soft touch. I haven't seen his jump shot yet, so we'll look into that more.
Yeah,
But
of
he's
course.
he's all over the court. He was out there getting after rebounds. I think he put up decent numbers on the first game. So I think he's not an all around player, but someone who's all around on the court. So he'll be there whether it's to steal, whether it's to pass, whether it's to rebound, to defend. I think he's gonna be an all around player, not on the box score, but just on the court.
Yeah. I believe
Yeah, and I
that's
think
what almost every team needs, someone who's an all-around player. I think that's the key of winning sometimes. No. See, what about the other player?
well right now, like Anthony Edwards, I haven't seen much of him. I haven't been watching the Minnesota game.
Mm,
But right now I don't think there's like a clear cut favorite for rookie of the year. You know,
mhm.
because nobody has shown out. People said this was a weak draft class. The ESPN was saying all that. So nobody knows who can win the rookie of the year. There might be a surprise. Like when
Yeah.
Malcolm Brogdon won in 2016 and he was a second round pick. But we'll see. We'll see. As the season goes, because right now I have not much to say
Yeah,
about
it's
them.
like too
There's
it's too
Anthony
early to tell.
Edwards, the guy from the Warriors. I forgot what's his name. The center. There's Killian Hayes. There's good players, but we don't know. It's the season hasn't even started, so we don't know what they're made of yet. So I can't say
Yeah.
too much about rookies right now. I have no idea.
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Actually, I was gonna actually today I was actually gonna bring up a lot about the today's games. about the Laker game. I think it was yesterday, right? Yeah, yesterday. Yesterday was the
Yeah.
Laker game. Um, Impressive. I think. I mean, before we started this recording, I was talking to our editors about Kuzma. You know, he did put at 23 points last the Laker game yesterday. I think that's pretty good. Uh, Now the question is that an improvement or is it just something that's like whatever?
I mean, honestly, Cal Kuzma did that last season. You know, he had games where he scored 20. He had games
Yeah,
where he scored 17. But in the end, what matters is if he can do it when it matters. You know, right now it's preseason. There's
yeah,
no pressure on him. Last playoffs, he completely was out of it. He had he didn't contribute at all. Alex Caruso was contributing more than him. Rondo obviously contributed more than him, and he was supposed to be like the third star for the Lakers. That's what they were saying at the beginning of the last season, but he proved that he can't be that. So right now, you know, he could score 20 points, but if he's consistent, that's what matters. Because you know you can score 20 once in a while, but what matters is consistency. With Kuzma at least.
mhm,
With Kuz, um, we all know that when you're on a team with great players like LeBron AD, your numbers drop. Kuzma, we saw a lot from him before he met LeBron, before he started playing with LeBron. We saw good things from him. We had high hopes as Laker fans. We had high expectations. LeBron comes in, your numbers will drop. As AD comes in, your numbers will even drop a little bit more. So, like we said, this is preseason. None of this counts. But when it, like Steven said, it's when it matters. It's are you willing to step up to the moment? Can you produce the same numbers or similar numbers? We don't have to go to the same numbers. Um, it's a good sign to see him play this way. It's a good sign, especially when this other rook, Talon Orton Tucker's outshining him. It's good to see him still have these good numbers because his numbers are still good, just probably being a little underlooked because everyone's hyping up this other rookie. So it's a good sign. It's not a bad sign, but it's a good sign. So let's have high. Hopefully, he has the chip on his shoulder to do good in the regular season when it matters, and talking future tense for the playoffs.
yeah,
Um, he did come out with that commercial that we all saw. Kind of like saying, he's ready to get into it. He's ready to get locked in. He's ready to, all that. That's good, but it has to show on the court. If not, it doesn't mean a thing. So
of
I don't believe
course.
it. I don't believe it until I see it.
And listen, the thing is, we don't need him to average, you know, 15. We don't need him to average 16. It'll be great. But honestly, what matters is if his his percentages are up. You know, it like Caruso. Caruso averages like I think 5 points a game. You know, like barely in one assist a game. But what he does helps benefit wins. You know, the defense he plays. He doesn't
Yes.
show up on the scoreboard, but the hustle he plays with. Like I seen a play in the finals where it was a 2-on-1 fast break. Jimmy Butler and Duncan Robinson against him, and the other teams are, you know, the team is falling back. So he stopped that 2-on-1 defense. He guarded Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler passed it to Duncan Robinson. He ran back to contest the shot and he missed the shot. And he stopped the two-on-one fast break, which should be a point, you know. So that like Kuzma doesn't need to average big numbers. That's not what he needs to do. What he needs to do is average efficient numbers, you know, efficient percentages and you know get better on defense. Because yesterday he was getting cooked by Devin Booker in the first half. I don't know why they had him guarding Devin Booker, but Devin Booker was lighting him up.
Well, Caruso was one of my favorite, bro. Honestly, he was. I liked him when he was playing throughout all those other games for the Lakers. I liked him a lot. You know, um, yeah, like what Marco said, it's too early right now. The preseason, a lot can change, a lot can happen. You know, a lot of people were saying that LeBron's lacking a little bit, but it doesn't really matter because it's the preseason. It looked like that even when it was like kind of like the first games of kind of like the regular season, and but like at the end, he did like you know deliver when it did matter. You know, he took us all the way to the championship, and I think that was great. But like I said, it's preseason, you know, even though he only played like 14 minutes in that game, at least, you know, he did something.
I like
Um,
I like what I saw from LeBron James yesterday. He
Yeah, he
was
did, but a lot of people
he
thought
was
he was slacking.
The
no,
first quarter was
this is
horrible.
no, yeah, the first quarter the whole team did bad. But after that, I like how LeBron was doing fadeaways. Why? Because
Oh yes.
Jordan and Kobe when they were doing their fadeaways, one or two things happened. They got double teamed and they passed out. Passed out to the open man, or they drilled it. If the double team didn't come, they just shot it over the one defender and made it. And that's what LeBron was doing, and that helps. Spaces out the floor, it finds the open man, or it comes an easy bucket. And he was hitting them, so I like that he was going with the fadeaway. It's a really good move in basketball.
And
It's hard to contest that shot.
if you notice, he did that a lot in Cleveland when he played the small forward
Yeah,
position. So if Dennis Schroeder takes this point guard position, LeBron drops down to the small forward position. And I predict if that happens, we're gonna see a lot of more scoring, more attacking, more
a lot of ball
shooting
movement.
for LeBron and the rest of the guys. But more for LeBron, we're gonna see more of the scoring side and more of the 7 and 8 numbers on the rebound and assist side.
But I like that
But
fadeaway, man. It was nice.
yep,
Yeah, it
yep.
was nice. I saw that one. That was crazy. Like that.
Shimmy shake too, bro.
We gotta we I wanna show maybe on a different day, but I wanna show the video of those two fadeaways. Technically, he travels, but it's so fast that the refs don't see it. So maybe later on we can get into detail about that.
Nah,
We'll
but
see.
I like that.
Um, I don't know if we can maybe
Um,
show it. I don't know if we could, uh, but we think of something. Maybe we'll
but
see.
I also like I said, Montrezl. He was shooting mid-range shots. I think he only hit one of them, but it's good to practice them. That way he could work on his jump shot. That way he could space up the floor. But I really liked how Montrezl was shooting the mid-range.
He's starting
It's better to extend it.
Yeah, he's starting to become an option because usually with the Clippers, Montrez is just a guy. He has to get himself involved, whether it's in the pick and roll, putting back, getting rebounds. But right now, what I'm seeing now is he's finding his way to score. Like the way we give the ball to AD is we're starting to give it to Montrez like that, and he's either backing up his defender, finishing at the rim, or his fadeaway. So now that
And
he's
he could
becoming
learn
a
from
threat
AD
on the
right now.
offensive end,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah.
So we might unlock
It's gonna
another new Montrez.
Yeah, no. If he could shoot the mid range, 10-footer, 15-footer, that'd be good. That'd
Hmm.
be real good. It just makes the Lakers more of an offensive threat.
Yep.
Well,
I know you guys like only watch the Laker games, right? Or but for me, I watched the Chicago Bulls and the Thunders,
I watch a
and it's
couple
not
other
because I
games.
didn't. Yeah, especially the Blazers. I watched that one too, but it seemed like they were not even trying at all. But I mean, like, it's understandable, you know,
Preseason.
preseason, yeah. But this is another thing that maybe doesn't really matter because it's the preseason. But for Chicago Bulls versus the Thunders, then Bulls won by 124, Thunders at 103. And Cody White and Zach Levine combined at 51 points for the Bulls. That's cool. That's good, isn't
Well,
it? That's
that's
pretty
pretty
good.
good. Yeah.
well, the Bulls have great young talent. Zach Levine, Cody
Yes.
White,
Yes.
and Laurie Markkinen. I think they drafted somebody else.
Wendell Carter Jr.
Yeah,
He's
but
gonna be
These
all right.
two,
basically the Bulls now that they got a new coach, they could do good. They're not gonna make the playoffs, I think, but they could little by little progress, and soon, maybe not this season, but another season they can make the playoffs.
And actually, Billy Donovan, the coach, is actually known for player development more than he
Yeah,
is as a coach on the court. So player development, that's gonna be good for all of them because they're
yeah.
all solid players. They all have potential in
Well,
their own
Zach
way.
Levine's
But
already there.
oh yeah,
Zach
and you
Levine's
got your
already
star.
there. He's a
Yep,
borderline all star.
there you
He
go.
just needs the other guys to, support him. Laurie Markkinen, he had a bad season last season, but if he
And
picks
don't
it
be
up like
surprised
his
if they make the
rookie year,
playoffs.
no, they
I
they
wouldn't be
can. It's the
surprised.
Eastern Conference, but I highly doubt it because
Mhm.
the Hawks are making the playoffs this season. I think.
That's true.
Yeah,
Mhm.
you know. So the Hawks, the Eastern Conference isn't as weak, as it was, 5 years ago in like 2011, 2012.
Do you guys think the both conferences balanced out, or did one side get stronger than the other still?
The West is still stronger, but not by a lot, because the West, the let's say the seeds 6 through 8 seeds, you're gonna look at teams like the Suns, the Warriors, and The Pelicans could be in there, the Trailblazers. Those four teams. They're fighting for those lower seeds. And then you have at the top, you have the Clippers, the Lakers, the Mavericks, and the Nuggets. So
What
these
about
are solid
Timberwolves?
teams. Timberwolves, they have a good team, but man, unless they surprise you, unless D'Angelo Russell, Karl Anthony Towns, and Anthony Edwards surprise me, I don't think they're gonna make it because the Western Conference is stacked. The
Okay,
Suns, they have Chris Paul and Devin Booker, which
they're making the playoffs.
yeah, I think they're making the playoffs. If Chris Paul did it with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he could do it with the Suns. And the Warriors, I don't think Curry's gonna, unless an injury comes, I think Curry's making it to the playoffs. It's Curry. He can make it.
It's
Him,
just gonna be tough for
Draymond.
them though.
Yeah, they're not gonna be a top four seed, but they're gonna make the playoffs. I think they're gonna make it. Portland
You guys,
Trailblazers. I personally think there's a possibility that they might not make the playoffs because last season they barely made it, and this season it just got tougher. So you know I wish Damian Lillard could make it, but there's a high possibility that he isn't.
That's true.
And like the Pelicans are still a solid team. They could be an eight seed. The Grizzlies are still a solid team, and the Timberwolves. So the only teams in the West that are weak are like oh, I forgot about the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz are still good. You know,
Yep.
so like,
they did pretty good in the regular season. I think they
so
did
what's
pretty good.
what's like the only team in the West that has no chance of making the playoffs?
Okay.
And
Which is more competitive, do you
The
guys think?
Kings. The
oh
Kings.
yeah, the Kings.
They're not making it.
Yeah, they're not making it. But besides that, everybody has a slight chance to make.
They lost Bogdanovich. They gained Whiteside. Not really good.
Yeah, Whiteside's not that
Mm.
good. But yeah, no, the West is that. The East is it's not weak
It's
by any
better.
means.
It's better.
It's good, but it's not better than the West.
It got better.
Yeah, because the East has like the Cleveland, Chicago Bulls, the Hornets. Those bottom seed teams. You know, bottom of the league.
You guys want to talk about possible? I know we can't get to all of them, but possible awards for this season. Who's going after what?
MVP? You talking about that?
Let's start with that.
They're gonna give it to I think they're gonna give it to LeBron again, bro.
You think? I would
No,
hope. I
I
would
don't think
hope.
so. As much as I'm a LeBron fan, I don't think so. And I don't think they're giving it to Giannis because of voter fatigue.
Who's gonna get it?
They're not gonna give it to him 3 years in a row unless he averages 40 or something.
I would
So
have said Giannis too.
Or
That
the
would be
same
my second pick.
numbers, or the same
my
numbers.
pick, my pick to win the this year's MVP is Luka Doncic. Because let me tell you this, they were the seventh seed last year, right? They're not gonna be bottom seed this time. They're gonna be like third or fourth. So his team record is gonna improve. He's gonna average about the same numbers. He's gonna average nearly a triple double, and he has a better team around him. So his team's gonna get better, and he was third place probably for MVP last season. So I think they're gonna give it a Luka Doncic this year.
I would have to say for that my pick. It's gonna be tough because there's a lot of potential players. But if I were to pick three guys that were gonna that are gonna make it into the conversation, Luca, Giannis, and Braun. I did have some other names in mind, but they didn't really make it. I want to say if KD stays healthy and plays his game the same way, he has a potential to be in there.
Yeah. Oh,
Maybe,
Curry, dude. Curry.
and
Let me
I
tell
would
you why.
say
Because he has no help, so he's gonna have to do a historic MVP
if he
season.
does, that would be really good
If
for
he
yeah.
carries his team to the playoffs, he's in that
Wow, yeah.
conversation. 'Cause, right, he doesn't
The-
have Clay Thompson.
And one more person I'd say is maybe Kawhi because he has that big chip on his shoulder. He has a squad, and that team can be really good, especially now that he's gonna be kind of pushed to play more almost every game. So if Kawhi has that mentality of making a comeback season, then he could be in that conversation too.
I
I
don't
don't
think
have a pick
Kawhi's
yet.
in there. He's never a regular season player.
As a favorite, my favorite obviously I would want LeBron to win it, but I can't say who specifically. Like I can't even go with Luca. Luca's good. He has a
He's
really high
obviously
potential,
he's
high
obviously
chance.
gonna say LeBron.
No,
Obviously he's gonna say LeBron.
I am gonna say LeBron. I am, but I can't say who. I can't say he will because it's that much talent right now, and who's after what. KD's gonna be trying to make a comeback season. Who knows what Kyrie does? Who knows what Curry does? Who knows what Giannis does? Who knows what LeBron does? I even heard that AD might make a case for it. But if he doesn't make a case, I mean, if he does make a case, that would be a surprise because he's entering his prime.
Yeah.
So you
I
never know. You never know.
I said that AD was gonna win MVP the postseason last time. I
Finals
remember
MVP.
what, yeah,
Okay.
I said that, but we'll see. You know, I do believe AD is gonna enter his prime. I do believe that, Marcus. I agree with you with that. Yeah,
Well,
I
no,
agree
yeah,
with you.
27, 32 is usually people's prime. 31,
Hmm.
that's usually the prime years of an NBA athlete or any athlete for that matter. What about obviously rookie of the year? We don't have we
That's
don't have
too.
much information. It's too early to tell.
Yeah, it's too early.
We can't really
Too early
tell.
to-
So what about who do you think is gonna win the championship?
Or who's gonna go to the finals? Who's coming out of the West? Who's coming out of the East?
Coming out of the West, I'm a little biased, but I think the Lakers have it again.
They
I
have
don't
that
think
deep
there's
roster.
the Clippers didn't get better; they stayed the same. The Nuggets lost a lot of key players. The Warriors don't have Klay Thompson. The Mavericks, I don't think they're there yet, but I think they could compete. So I think the Lakers in the Western Conference, are
They
the
did.
clear cut favorites.
They
Do you think
did
it's
They
gonna be a
got
clearly get
better.
race?
better. They got
Yeah,
better,
they won a championship,
deeper.
but they didn't stay the same. They got better. And
Yeah,
the rest of the teams didn't get better. They either stayed the same or got worse.
yeah.
Hmm.
Because the Nuggets lost Jeremy Grant, Mason Plumlee, key role players in the team.
Yep,
The Clippers lost Montrezl Harrell, and besides that, they stayed the same.
yep.
The Warriors, obviously, unfortunately, Klay Thompson got injured and is out for the rest of the season, which sucks because Klay Thompson is awesome. And the Mavericks, they got better, but I don't think they can compete against the Lakers yet, just yet. So I
Who's coming
think the
out?
Lakers are coming out of the West.
Who's coming out the East?
Coming out of the East.
Is it the Bucks or is it the Nets or is it the
I would
Heat?
say the
Those are
Nets.
the two teams.
I would say the Nets.
I don't
The
think
Nets.
I
If
don't think the Heat
Kyrie,
can
if
make it.
Kyrie, if Kyrie can fix himself up and be an epic duel with KD, I think they can make it.
And don't forget about Karis LeVert. That team is deep. That team is
Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan.
That too.
Joe Harris, Seth. No, not Seth Curry. Landry Shamet.
Yeah.
All of them chipping in. They got something right there. I think maybe even better than Milwaukee because Milwaukee only has. They don't really, I wouldn't count Chris Middleton as part of the duo. It's Giannis and then
Hey
Chris
man,
and Drew
Milwaukee
Holiday.
Bucks. Milwaukee Bucks.
They got Drew Holiday, but they
The thing
lost
that
George
the
Hill
thing
and
that
Bledsoe.
the thing that makes the Nets better than the Bucks are the fact that they have a better bench than the Bucks.
Yeah,
Because Milwaukee doesn't have as great of a bench that the Nets does. If KD is off, Kyrie's there. If both of them are off, Karis LeVert can score a few buckets. Defensively, they have Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan is past his prime. He's not as good,
yeah.
but he can still
No,
defend.
I got the
And
Nets coming out the
Joe
East.
Harris, Joe Harris 3-pointer. That's wet right there. One of the best shooters in the league right now. But I wouldn't count the Milwaukee Bucks out. They got Giannis, reigning MVP.
Drew.
Drew Holiday, which KD himself said is the best defender in the NBA, the person that gives them the most trouble. And Chris Middleton, he's like a Paul George type player. Chris Middleton, he could give you shooting, and he's not as good as facilitating or anything like that. He's a good secondary third piece. But now that they got
Mhm.
Drew Holiday, it makes the team better. But no, I honestly don't know who to choose between them two.
I got the Nets. If they're healthy, I got the Nets.
But
I got the Nets.
because of the bench, I think the Nets can win it.
They got a bench and a good duo. A good duo.
Yeah. No, no, they're the second best duo in the league.
Yeah, and with the bench.
Obviously LeBron and AD,
That's
one
why.
of
So
the.
when you got the two best duos in the league and they both got a bench, I think they're meeting
But man,
as long
hopefully
as
KD returns.
healthy.
The KD is the
He look
same as he was
he
before
looks
the
he
injury.
looks good,
He
and
looked like it. He looked like it.
we'll
Yes.
see him again
Hopefully.
tomorrow. We'll see him again tomorrow and on
Yeah.
opening night. Opening
Yeah.
night.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a
Lakers
good
versus
day.
Clippers. It's gonna be
Banner,
awesome.
That's tomorrow, right?
banner.
Get the rings.
No, on
It's on the
Tuesday.
22nd.
Tuesday.
Yeah,
22nd,
on the
Tuesday?
22nd.
It'll be
Tuesday
Warriors.
tomorrow. That's a lot of things because
It'll
the
be
boxing
it'll
for
be
Canelo
Warriors
too.
versus the Nets. That game will come first, and then the Lakers
Yes,
versus the
sir.
Clippers. Those two games are gonna be good.
Nice,
I'm watching both.
Yeah.
nice.
And then the
We
Clippers are facing the Nuggets the next game after that.
on Christmas.
So that's gonna, yeah, Christmas. That's gonna be
On
good.
Christmas, a
Lakers versus Mavericks on Christmas too.
That should be good too.
nice. I
That
want
should be
to.
good too.
I'm excited for that one. I'm excited for
Yeah.
that one. But
And I don't think we could do like a ceiling, right? That's that. You think you could come up with the top 8 teams in the
Not
NBA?
yet. Not yet.
not
Let's wait a
yet.
little bit.
We'll
Let's
give
wait a
it.
little bit to the
We'll
little.
do it like 10 games into the season.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 10 games into the
Yeah.
season, we'll give our seedings.
Actually, we got some more questions here. Some other questions. Who's getting paid too much?
Contracts.
Who's getting paid too much? Gordon Hayward for sure.
Oh yeah, I do not know why the Hornets paid him that much money, man. That
I don't
is
know.
like you
I
would
think
think
that's
that
absurd, man.
after the
That's
Celtics
absurd.
offered him that money and he wasn't worth that contract, you would think that he'd be a $15 million, $10 million player, but they gave him nearly 30, bro. I don't know why they did that. Michael Jordan is not a good GM, man. He's the best player of all time, but he's not a good GM. Yeah,
Who's
he's
getting?
not.
Here's another question. Who's getting paid too little?
Who's getting paid too little?
Yeah. What do you guys think? In that question, are we talking about like everyone, or are we talking about like some
Everyone.
big
Everyone.
players?
Everyone.
Um, Talking about who's getting paid too much, I think contracts that aren't worth it. Russell Westbrook and Paul George. I
Mhm,
don't, Russell Westbrook he looks like he's declining. You know,
mhm.
I think he can make the Wizards come, 7th, 8th seed, but they're like first round exits,
Yeah.
and
He's a little cocky though. I gotta say that he
I
is a
don't
little
think him
cocky.
being one of the top paid in the NBA, I don't think he's worth that much anymore. So
I
that
agree. Yeah,
sucks.
he's.
John Wall, obviously, his contract is too much because he didn't play for the last 2 years, and we don't know. There's highlights of him right now in preseason, but we'll see what he's made of in regular season. And Paul George, if he
What
doesn't
about
step it out in the playoffs again, that contract for the Clippers kind of sucks for him.
what about KCP?
It was about 13 million a year, huh?
I think it was 3 years, 40 mil.
Yeah, which is about 13.3 a
I
year.
think so.
But
Yeah.
he deserves it.
Yep.
That's the type of money Patrick Beverly's getting, and he's better than Patrick Beverly.
Yep.
So I think it was fine. I think that's a good contract. He was a key factor for the Lakers in the playoffs. And if you tell
Yeah.
me who's getting paid too much, I just thought of something. Danny Green, 15 million a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danny Green, man.
Oh man.
You ask the Laker fan about Danny Green, they're gonna go off on him.
We're gonna leave that about the next episode. I think we can talk a lot about Danny Green because this is a good
Man,
topic about that.
I got a lot
he
of
could have been
venting to do
Lakers
about
in
him.
5 for all the rounds, but he missed that shot, and then Markieff Morris didn't pass it to AD, but he did a horrible pass.
I have a lot of
Yeah.
But
venting
yeah,
to do on that.
I don't want to even remember that.
But speaking
But
about money, Giannis, bro, $225 million.
well
That
Yeah.
deserved, man.
shock. Yeah, well deserved. Yes, but that's crazy. A lot of money for a
His
5-year
contract,
extension. Yes, that is crazy.
Supermax extension.
Yeah, super. And it's like I think it's the best thing in history for in terms of that. It's the biggest purchase.
It's
I
the
think.
biggest
I guess you
contract,
can
yeah,
say biggest
in
contract. There we
NBA
go. Sorry,
history. Yeah.
biggest contract. Yeah, that's
No, but I
crazy, man.
mean, if the Bucks didn't offer him that, he would have left because it's like the only reason he
Oh,
was gonna stay in the Milwaukee is because that's the team that can give him the most money
is
because
he from
obviously it's
there
his home
actually?
team. No,
He's
he's
Is he
from
from
from there?
Greece,
Greece.
and his parents are Nigerian.
Yeah.
No, I mean like that's where like his hometown
Oh
is.
yeah, that's where he got
That's
Not
yeah,
drafted.
that's
he.
where he got drafted. That's where he
Yeah.
got drafted.
Yeah, that's what I
Hey
meant.
man, respect the loyalty. Hopefully
Yeah,
he
yeah.
can one day win a ring there. But I mean, I wouldn't leave for that much money. I wouldn't put 30 because if he would have gone to another team, signed with another team, he would have lost like $30 million right there. I think they can't offer him that much. So, but I
Oh,
mean, well deserved, and that was the only way that was smart for the Bucks because he's their franchise player, and he's leading them to the first seed consistently. So It's well deserved. Like he's not getting overpaid. That's exactly what he deserves.
Yeah.
I was just shocked because I didn't think he would want to stay because he's expressed that he wants to win a ring. That he's not gonna retire until he wins a ring. And, a small market team like Milwaukee
Dedication right there.
can't give him a great superstar.
Hmm.
Especially with Chris Middleton's big contract now and his big contract. It takes up a lot of the cap space. You got anything to say about that, Marcos?
Um, well, everyone knows I'm not too big on Giannis. I'm not a big fan of his,
I don't know why.
but it's not a hate thing. It's just I don't know. It's I don't know, but I don't hate him. He's a great player. He deserves it. Put up crazy numbers. Won his awards. He's he himself rebuilt that Milwaukee team because at first, even when he was there, it wasn't a great team, but he developed. He got better. I've seen him improve throughout the couple of seasons
He
that I've
has
been watching
skill. It's
him,
not just height.
and yes, his skill has developed a lot. And he's even shooting 3 pointers at an efficient level. So he deserves it. He deserves it. The thing is, I just hope he doesn't regret it later. Because if he goes those 5 years without winning a ring, that's tough because he himself is already entering his prime.
He's gonna turn 30 when
He's to
the
turn
by the end of
30.
his contract.
Yep. He'll still have
Wow.
a lot of game left in him. But who knows, mate? What if injury becomes a problem because he's very out there. If he doesn't take care of himself, he can be injury prone. But
Hmm.
I think he has the potential and the squad a bit, depending on how the season rolls out. But he has the potential to win a ring in these next 5 years, maybe a ring or two. Um, so yeah, definitely deserves that extension. I just thought that he was really gonna leave, because there's this tennis player that I know, Nick Kyrgios. He talked to Giannis over the summer. They probably hung out, I think, and he said, I straight out asked him, "Are you leaving to Miami, or are you leaving Milwaukee, or you headed somewhere else?" And he just gave him a smile. And that was it. Usually that means
And
like I
also
don't
the
want to.
barber thing
That too,
about his
and
barber, and his
yeah,
barber said, I respect your move. Thank you for being here for 6 years.
I don't even know why that stuff happens, but I thought he was gonna move somewhere. I
I
thought
mean, just
whether
just because
whether it
just
was a
because he
free
got
agent
a
or a
contract,
trade.
he could still get traded. He could still get traded.
Yeah, but it's gonna be like hard to get traded like Giannis
Yeah.
did. AD had to kind of like beg to,
Yeah.
to to leave, so it's gonna be hard. He just made it harder on himself if it doesn't work out. But they definitely got something going on in there.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we got today. We actually are gonna be putting this all not only in just YouTube now. We actually now having the multiple platforms. We're gonna be posting this in our SoundCloud, Spotify. So it's already
YouTube
out now. Yeah, YouTube. Well, this is definitely gonna be in YouTube right now. But right now we're doing everything's gonna be in Spotify and SoundCloud as well. Like and subscribe this podcast. There's a lot more topics. There's a lot more things that's gonna go on. So it's gonna be a lot more fun. We're gonna have a lot more topics. So it's gonna
episode
be
two
great.
coming soon. Episode two
Episode two
coming
coming
Episode
soon.
two,
soon.
regular season coming soon.
That too.
Yep.
Yeah.
This
Got
is three beans in a pod.
Enjoy the video.